making several claims of capturing two Indian Air Force pilots, including a reiteration by Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan. The Pakistan Army has now claimed and clarified that it only has one pilot, Wing Commander Abhinandan, under its custody. In a tweet, Pakistan's Army has said, and I quote, "Wing Commander Abhinandan is being treated as per norms of military ethics," unquote. Now, this after it released several videos of the Indian Air Force pilot in custody through the day. Reacting to these developments, the Ministry of External Affairs has summoned Pakistan's acting High Commissioner, lodging a protest. Later, the ministry has issued a statement in which it said, and I quote, "India strongly objects to Pakistan's vulgar display of an injured personnel of the Indian Air Force in violation of all norms of international humanitarian law and the Geneva Convention," end of quote. India also said, and I quote again, "Pakistan would be well advised to ensure that no harm comes to the Indian defence personnel in its custody. India also expects his immediate and safe return," end of quote. Earlier during the day, the Indian Air Force detected Pakistan's attempt to target Indian military installations and foiled those bids, according to the government. Now, the Ministry of External Affairs says that during the operations today, the Indian Air Force shot down one of Pakistan's fighter aircraft, but lost one MiG-21 Bison. Let's hear out the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ravish Kumar on the operation between India and the Pakistani Air Force this morning.
The Pakistan Air Force was detected and the Indian Air Force responded instantly. In that aerial engagement, one Pakistan Air Force fighter aircraft was shot down by a MiG-21 Bison of the Indian Air Force. The Pakistani aircraft was seen by ground forces falling from the sky on the Pakistan side.
Well, that is the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ravish Kumar. But now India, in its demarche orders, acknowledging the fact that Pakistan has the Indian Air Force Wing Commander Abhinandan in custody, saying that please make sure that he is treated with honour and dignity as per the Geneva Convention. Now, Parikshit Dutta joins us for more on the statement from the External Affairs Ministry. Parikshit, many thanks for joining us. The briefing today was very brief. The details given were very sketchy, but you've been able to piece together what transpired this morning in the operation between the Pakistani Air Force and the Indian Air Force. Also, if you can take us through the details of the demarche order issued by the Ministry of External Affairs and summoning Pakistan's High Commissioner here to India.
Sources are telling us that this entire operation took place at around 10:30 this morning, and you had Pakistani F-16s who violated the Indian airspace. They entered Indian territory, and they hadn't really moved far into Indian territory before they were intercepted by Indian jets, Indian fighter jets, which engaged all the Pakistani fighters. One F-16 was brought down by a MiG-21 from the Indian side. In fact, we're told that the pilot got a lock-on this F-16 and fired an R-73 missile and brought down the F-16. There were forces on the Indian side who actually saw two parachutes coming down towards the Pakistani side, and the wreckage of that F-16, of course, fell on the Pakistani side. The Air Force and the Ministry of External Affairs acknowledging that we've lost one aircraft, possibly in a ground attack from Pakistani forces, and one pilot has gone missing. That person has been identified as Wing Commander Abhinandan, who is in Pakistani custody right now. India has sent out a strong message when it met the acting Deputy High Commissioner, when MEA officials met the acting Deputy High Commissioner earlier today and told him that this vulgar display of an Indian Air Force personnel is not done. It goes against the Geneva Convention. He must be treated with respect, and he must be immediately returned to the Indian government. Strong words there from the Ministry of External Affairs, also pointing out that we reserve our right to respond, to protect our sovereignty, to protect our country and our national security as well. A dossier was also handed over to the acting High Commissioner of Pakistan, detailing Pakistan's complicity in the Pulwama attack, the complicity of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. And one line that has been drawn by both the Air Force and the MEA is that Pakistan today tried to target military installations on the Indian side. When India attacked yesterday, they attacked a Jaish-e-Mohammed camp in Balakot. There was no attack on military installation or civilians. And therefore, what Pakistan has done is actually an act of aggression against the Indian state and a commencement of hostilities. This is what sources are telling us, that in military parlance, globally, when you attack military installations or you enter the territory of any country, you're actually raising the bar and you're commencing hostilities against your neighbor or any other country. Even though, despite all of that, India has responded in a very careful, calibrated way, not wanting to increase tensions. There have been a lot of statements coming from UK, France, Russia, Nepal, Sri Lanka, all countries asking for restraint from both sides.
You're absolutely right, Parikshit, and I just want to take that forward because so far, the reaction from foreign countries has been in support of India, and its condemnation of Pakistan has been unanimous, asking Pakistan to do more to deal with terror outfits operating on Pakistani soil. But now there seems to be fear building within foreign countries about the possibility of escalation. In fact, Russia saying that it is worried about the aggravation along the line of control. Are other countries expressing similar sentiment?
That's right. Not just Russia. We have a statement from France. We have a statement from Nepal, from Sri Lanka, also the UK. All of them saying that they're worried about the situation. France, for one, has warned its citizens and said that their consulates, their embassies in Pakistan, in India as well, are ready to cater to their citizens. They are asking them to stay away from Jammu and Kashmir because that is a conflict zone right now. Russia has said that it is willing to offer its assistance to India and Pakistan to bring down tensions as well. There has been pressure on Pakistan from the US. Mike Pompeo had put out a statement not on today's military engagement, but earlier, saying that we want both sides to exercise restraint, bring the situation under control, and Pakistan must show definite action against the Jaish-e-Mohammed and terror groups on its soil. So the global community watching the situation very closely. There was a briefing for foreign envoys. The Chinese envoy was there at the MEA for almost 30 minutes. You had the UK envoy, envoys of at least all the P5 countries and some other nations, including Kuwait, who were here, who got a briefing from the foreign secretary and other diplomats that India's position is very clear. We had targeted a terror camp in Pakistan, and today Pakistan has targeted military installations in India, which is an act of aggression and commencement of hostilities from the Pakistani side. So India conveyed its position very, very clearly that we're not the aggressor here. We have been fighting in self-defense, and Pakistan clearly needs to be brought to book, and its denials cannot be accepted by the international community.
Absolutely, Parikshit. Many thanks for joining us. In fact, just to take that point forward, remember, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan had asked India for evidence for the Pulwama attack. The Jaish-e-Mohammed had claimed responsibility. We are given to understand that India has shared the dossier that it has on Jaish-e-Mohammed's involvement with terror activities with the Pakistani establishment today. So that's another developing story that we continue to track. Meanwhile, leaders of 21 political parties held a meeting today to discuss the ongoing tensions between India and Pakistan. While the leaders lauded India's action of airstrikes on terror camps across the line of control, they did express regret that the Prime Minister has not convened an all-party meeting in the wake of escalating tensions on the border. The leaders unanimously condemned Pakistan Army's actions of targeting Indian military installations today and expressed concern over the safety of the missing pilot. Here's Congress President Rahul Gandhi taking the media through the statement issued by 21 opposition parties after the all-party meeting.
Post the statement from the MEA regarding targeting of our military installations and loss of one of our fighter aircraft, the leaders condemned the Pakistani misadventure and expressed their deep concern for the safety of our missing pilot. Leaders urged the government to take the nation into confidence on all measures to protect India's sovereignty, unity and integrity. The meeting of 21 parties expressed their deep anguish over the blatant politicization of the sacrifices made by our armed forces by leaders of the ruling party. National security must transcend narrow political considerations. The leaders observed that the Prime Minister has regrettably not convened an all-party meeting as per the established practice in our democracy.
The former Foreign Secretary, Pinaki Chakravarti, former diplomat, Nirdosh Tyagi, retired Deputy Chief of the Air Staff, John Blank, foreign policy expert. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Mr. Sibal, if I could start by asking you, I I was speaking with Vivek Kachu just a short while ago, and he believes that the action initiated by Pakistan today is provocative and escalatory. He believes that when India struck non-military targets in Pakistan and made that amply clear in its statement issued yesterday, we actually gave Pakistan an escape route. But Pakistan has chosen not to take that forward. What do you make of the developments of the day, sir?
I think we should have expected Pakistan to react. I don't think that they had any option but not to react, because otherwise it would have damaged the prestige of the Pakistani armed forces badly, and that of Imran Khan. All this muscle flexing that Pakistani army and its leadership have done over decades, especially after they acquired nuclear capability, put them in a situation where they could not absorb such a blow, because India did not attack merely a target in POK, but attacked a target in main Pakistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. And to that extent, it was really a serious blow to Pakistan, because they did not see the attack coming, they did not prepare for it, they could not prevent it. Their anti-air defense system was either outflanked or jammed, was not operative. So therefore it exposes a lot of gaps in Pakistan's military defense apparatus. So they were bound to react one way or the other. And for us to have imagined that we have given them an escape route and they would behave sensibly and not up the ante, would have been, at one level, a sane approach on Pakistan's part that we were expecting. But then Pakistan, which has promoted terrorism against us for 2-3 decades, has never been a rational country. So they had to react, and since there are no terror targets in India, because we don't have terror camps, the only targets that they could attack were military targets. And that's what they attempted to do. The remarkable thing in this, which has not been highlighted sufficiently, is that in 1970 vintage aircraft, though upgraded, MiG-21, which is going to be phased out completely from the Indian Air Force, brought down an F-16.
That's right. That's right.
They're one of their main, the mainline fighters. So this just goes to show how the powerful weaponry that is there in the Indian Air Force to take on even their high-value aircraft like the F-16s. We did not use our Sukhois or our Mirages or anything else in this operation. So Pakistan should learn a lesson that they're extremely vulnerable. And therefore, if they try these games again, their Air Force can be very badly, badly hit. Now, whether matters will stop here or whether the Pakistan would wish to escalate it further, my own feeling is that India at this point in time need not react further, because we have actually taught them a lesson. The fact that we have lost an aircraft and a pilot is very regrettable. But here, I think the point to make is that when our MiG-21 was shot, all these operations take place between 2-3 kilometers of the line of control. And the turning circle is about 7 kilometers.
Right.
So therefore, unfortunately, even in this operation, the MiG-21 was in Pakistani POK territory, and therefore he crashed there and was captured. Now Pakistan will use our pilot as a bargaining counter. What kind of bargain they would want to make? This dialogue the dialogue that Imran Khan is suggesting is utter nonsense, because the issue is not dialogue. The issue is Pakistan's credible, verifiable action against terrorists, and that's the reason why we went in and attacked Balakot. Therefore, if they want a dialogue with India, they cannot use the pilot as a bargaining counter. They have to show that they are going to act credibly on the issue of terrorism. And then, yes, we've always said that we can, our doors for a dialogue are open, provided Pakistan deals with this problem of terrorism. And everybody is telling them to do so. The United States is telling them. Even the Russia, India, China communique speaks very strongly about terrorism. The Gulf countries have condemned Pulwama in very strong terms. France has done it. The EU has done it. Australia has done it. So Pakistan is on a very weak wicket, and I hope they have good sense. And since this is not a war situation between India and Pakistan, they can't treat the pilot as a prisoner of war, and therefore they should return him. to us.
Okay, I'll get to that in just a second, but let me take the points that you raised across to Mr. Chakravarti. And Mr. Chakravarti, I want you to comment on the points being made there by Mr. Sibal that India need not react any further. What should the calibrated response be at this point in time? And does the fact that they do have one Indian pilot in captivity, at least they claim they have two, India believes that we have only one missing pilot in action at this point in time. That is what the Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed. Does this make our position any more vulnerable at all today, sir?
No, certainly not. I don't think we are vulnerable at all. And I think what Ambassador Sibal just said, that we have made our point very clearly by the attack on Balakot. They reacted, which they had to in some ways, because the macho image of the Pakistan army otherwise would have been severely dented. So they have done, and we thwarted that. So it's kind of, we can say we kind of even in the sense that, not really even, but at least something has happened from our side, something has happened from their side. And in any case, along the line of control, I think firing is going on. I think we are targeting each other's positions. So I think this is the situation at the moment.
That's right.
If we want to raise the ante, we can. We can certainly escalate if we wish to. But is this the time to escalate? And you were also hearing that Imran Khan is again asking for dialogue, etc. Now, I don't think dialogue is a possibility at this stage. I think our response to
my apologies for interrupting, sir. My apologies for interrupting, because yes, Imran Khan has said that we should sit across the table and try to resolve this via dialogue. And Mr. Sibal just pointed out that the offer for dialogue is utter rubbish until they do something credible when it comes to the terror camps operating out of Pakistan. But he also said something else. He said that if this were to escalate and spin out of control, it will no longer be in my hands or Prime Minister Modi's hands. What do you make of that statement for a Prime Minister of Pakistan to say if this escalates, it may not be in my hands? The consequences of that?
Well, nothing is, in fact, the point of fact is nothing is in his hands. I mean, he's repeating the script that is provided to him by the Pakistan army. I think the whole world knows, even Pakistanis know that he is a puppet. And we all know that the army runs the show in Pakistan and not the civilian government. So that is a fact of life there, and we have to deal with it. But I was coming to the point about our response to Imran Khan, what it should be. I think we should say that, okay, you have said before that you want to go down the path of dialogue. You have again repeated it. We have to tell him that dialogue is possible in an atmosphere free of terrorism, which is our position. So you please give us proof first that you have taken care of all the terrorist organizations and you have rooted out terrorism from your soil and eliminated all the training grounds, etc., which is of course run with the connivance and help and full support of the army. I believe even the trainers in Balakot could have been ex-army, personnel, etc., which is the normal thing that happens in these training grounds for the terrorist organizations. So I think Imran Khan is sort of wasting his breath without actually getting the support of the army. That let him first say that we are serious, we will root out all the terrorism. Let him begin by saying that first, and then providing some kind of proof.
He said that
we have seen this for decades now. We have seen this for decades.
Yes, exactly.
And
That's
I don't
exactly
think
the point that I was trying to make. He said that a few days ago. He repeated that.
There's no point accepting his word.
That's right. He repeated that today as well. Absolutely, he repeated that as well today, saying, but as both Mr. Sibal as well as Mr. Chakrabarti are pointing out, there has been a big distinction between what Pakistan says and what it does. Action and intent have not been linked when it comes to their action against terror camps operating out of Pakistan. But let me go across to Air Marshal Nirdosh Tyagi. Sir, difficult days for the Indian Air Force on the back of what has happened today with the MiG-21 down and one pilot confirmed to be in custody of Pakistan, though the Ministry of External Affairs says that he is missing in action. If you could take us through what you've heard my colleague Parikshit Luthra piece together in terms of how this operation was carried out. We are given to understand that there were 4 military installations that the Pakistan Air Force was targeting. This was foiled by the Indian Air Force, and to the point that Mr. Sibal made, that it was actually the MiG-21 that took down an F-16, and this is an aircraft that's on its way to being phased out later this year.
Yes, we have to keep using the assets that we have, and the assets that are deployed in the sector are put to use for combat air patrol, operational readiness platform, and they have some capability. MiG-21 in Bison version has been upgraded, and it has some capability which is modern, but the aircraft frame is old generation. So that is there, and it's well known that the force drawdown and the vintage needs quick replacement. But unfortunately, we are bogged down with the procedure and other obstacles which keep coming up every now and then.